Hello and welcome to Big Bandit Gaming. I'm your host Troy, and today we have Josh.
What's up?
Colton.
Hello.
And Izayah.
Who?
I don't know why, but when I heard Colton's voice, I was expecting Izayah, even though I said Colton. I threw myself off. I was like, whoa, what just happened?
Wow. I can leave if you want me to, Troy. I can just leave.
Are we gonna fight at the start of every podcast now? Is that gonna be our thing?
Why not? Why not?
Okay. I mean, we need a thing, so this is good. I'm glad it happened organically.
It's called strife.
Yeah. Cloud strife. Speaking of which, we won't jump on our topic yet. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good.
I'm okay.
Josh is not so good.
Say no more.
It's my dog's birthday, so I'm doing fantastic.
Happy
Yes.
birthday.
Captain. Yeah,
It is
Captain.
Captain. Good guess.
Hey.
50-50
What are you guys
shot.
gonna do?
I patted him on the butt maybe 10 times. That might be what.
Harassment. Good.
Yes. Yes.
I played
Dogs love
Metroid
that.
Dread. I finished it. That's what I did for my dog's birthday.
Very nice. How'd you like Metroid Dread?
Though I often was pulling my hair out at certain moments, and one thing I'm gonna stand by to the most extent is that when you get touched by an enemy and that does damage to you, I find that to be incredibly dumb, and it's just it's been like the current like game design choice in most platformer like games like this, like Metroidvanias, and it really grinds my gears when I get touched like a little tippy tap by an enemy. I lose 65 health. I get it. In Metroidvanias, you get a lot of health already, so damage needs to kind of like balance it out. But I don't care.
So you're saying you're very angry at Goombas, is what you're trying to
angry
say.
at Goombas, but also like it can be a skill issue. Metroid Dread is like one of the best Metroid games like out there for me. I played like most of them already, and I genuinely loved my time with it. After I was finished, I was blown away with everything they did with it, with like every like high they were able to top themselves with it. And with movement in itself, it's just like a big upgrade from like previous Metroid like mainline games.
That 4-phase final boss is like freaking incredible.
It's amazing. I was at first pissed at it because there's two moves that I just did not understand, which is the black hole in the sun. But like, bro, once I figured it, once I like got like that dance down, the choreography just clicked, and I was like, I'm in it. I love it so much.
The final boss reminded me of like the Sekiro's final boss, where you just get destroyed by it until you like slowly learn it, and then your last run, you're like, I got hit once, and I was a god, and I didn't press record. That was my Sekiro experience.
It was so cool.
But yes,
the Final Fantasy VII little nod they made at that like second to last phase transition. That was so cool. That was raw.
Yeah. Speaking of Metroid, I totally flagged on Metroid Prime for like the second time in my life.
Really?
I think that's a really good game mechanically. I think honestly, I'd play an entire game of like Metroid Marble because of the physics and stuff on the marble control for Prime. It's like, it feels so good, and it's just like really cool to have your perspective. Like you go through a wall and you just come out and you're out like in another room. Like that always feels really awesome. But the backtracking, man, I was losing like 30 to like 40 minutes of playtime just backtracking, not knowing where to go next. And and I was like, I don't have time for this. So I still stand where I was with Metroid Prime beforehand, where I'm like, I think this is a really cool thing. Also, maybe not for me. So I think there will be a Metroid Prime 4, and I'll give it another shot. But for now, 2D Metroid is where it's at for me.
Oh yeah, but you bought it digitally, right?
Yes.
Oof, that sucks.
Like everything else, I get on the Switch. So
sometimes
that happens.
Silly question, Izayah.
I know, but I had hope for you, somewhat.
That I could sell it off. Yeah. Well, there you go. How about you, Colton? You play anything before we jump into the main topic?
I mean, I'm going through that the video game that we're going to talk about in our little video game book club. I'm playing a little bit of Alice. I can't play a whole lot of it at a time, but hour and a half here, hour there, that kind of stuff. Playing a lot of the new season of Fortnite. It's really good.
Right. It's really good.
I mean, typical Fortnite opinion of mine. I really like it. I think it's good.
You were complaining about the driving non-stop.
No, not non-stop. I just say I've always said since they added driving, the driving in the game, I think it just doesn't feel good. But I think they kind of justified it whenever they added motor or like dirt bikes to the game, to where you can now aim and shoot while driving and steering at the same time. So that was the only thing, because you have to drive. You don't have to, but you can drive with the left joystick, which is just awkward in video games because I want to drive the car straight, but I want to move the camera to the left. The car's going to go to the left with the camera, and I've never liked that mechanic. But I think now that you can shoot while you drive, I think you just kind of have to learn how to drive differently. That was my only thing so far.
Nice. Yeah. What about you, Josh, before I jump into mine?
I've been playing some Apple Arcade because I just got that for the first time.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, what are you playing?
I think my favorite so far is What the Golf.
Yeah.
Oh man, so What the Golf is awesome.
Aside from that, I really like Grindstone, but it's already getting to the point.
So good.
It's getting to the point where it's already like a little bit repetitive and kind of just. It's getting hard for seemingly no reason. Like I'm like, suddenly I can only make it like 3 moves into the thing and then I have to leave, and I'm like,
Yeah, I played that game till I couldn't pass any more of the levels. That's where I was with that game. Not to say I didn't enjoy it though. I thought it was really fun.
Nice. So I've been playing a little Alice too. That's kind of what I've been doing.
Oh no.
What's up?
Oh, I cut out again. Sorry.
Oh yeah, sorry. I just thought you stopped talking.
No.
Oh, you did cut out. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, what were you saying, Josh?
Oh, aside from Apple Arcade, I've been playing Wo Long.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Tell me about Wo Long.
I mean, it has an infamous, very difficult first boss, which I thought was so far the most enjoyable part of the game. It took me probably like 12, 15 times trying to get through that first boss to finally get it. But after that, it's pretty easy. There's a couple of hard bosses that I've fought so far. It's far worse than Neo or Dark Souls or Sekiro.
Yeah.
Anything you could possibly compare it to. It's like they kind of it's almost there. Like it's got really interesting ideas, but it felt like they didn't put the time or budget into this one. And Neo, it feels so well rounded, and this one is just like the loot system doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Why is it in the game? Because I think you just kind of get a lot of the same weapon that's got like slight differences, but it's not even like stat differences, if that makes any sense. It's not like the base stat difference.
Oh,
it's really strange.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like I had mentioned on the podcast before that they did that early demo, and I was like not feeling it. I was like, I don't feel like the parry feels good. I don't feel like the dodge feels good. Blah blah blah. And then I played the demo that released alongside like the real game like a few days before, which is just pretty much the launch game. Yeah. And I can tell, like, obviously they widen the parry windows like to a ridiculous amount. Like parrying is like no problem. It's not like Sekiro where you have to like kind of play it like a rhythm game. You just kind of need to get within like their swing more or less. Yeah.
That's kind of where I was going with. The ideas are very good. Like that system makes a whole lot of sense, but I feel like maybe there's some latency problems. Then that's why they had to widen the windows, because sometimes I feel like I hit it like in the window and it just doesn't hit. Yeah. And maybe that's just Xbox, because the buttons take so much longer to press down than the PlayStation buttons, and I'm just not used to that. Also, if you're playing on the Series S, the game looks like trash. So I recommend playing on the PS5 or Series X. Yeah,
I saw the Digital Foundry comparisons, and the Series X and PS5 are comparable, but that Series S and the base consoles look like garbage. They're bad, and they don't perform well.
Yeah. So it's worth the upgrade. If you're gonna get into this game, it's worth the upgrade.
Yeah.
Just buy a PS5. I don't know.
Just buy a PS5 for Wolong. Yeah, sure. I mean, you can get them now. You can just go on Amazon and get one.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? No, I'm with you, Josh. I had that inkling about that game, and I just kind of played that demo and was like, yeah, this is fine, but these games are like usually like 80 hours long, and I'm not going to play that long on a game that like is fine. I think I got everything I needed out of Neo 2 from that company, but they also announced that open world like Souls-like game alongside Wolong.
Yeah, the one that said like Japan.
Yeah, I was like, like after Elden Ring, it'd be cool to have another company try their hand at like an open world Souls-like thing. See where they take it.
My only problem there is that their level design is the worst part of those games. So I don't know how that's going to translate.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, that's the thing. Neo 2 just hits so hard mechanically. Like they're really mechanically awesome. They feel great.
Yeah. And
there is something about Wolong that feels like a little floaty or a little, like you said, there's just something not quite there.
Off. Yeah.
So yeah. It's a bummer, but there's enough coming out that it's not like, wow, I was planning on playing that for 2 months and now it's, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
But yeah, for me, I like Colton, I'm just chipping away at the game we're going to be covering on our Big Bandit Let's Play series. But the big thing actually that came out was all the Final Fantasy 16 previews came out, and I had a pretty close eye on that, and just pretty much universally, everyone really likes what they played so far.
I find it really funny though, because like people, of course, like like the audience, Twitter, they'll kind of complain. Like some of them will kind of complain, like, "Oh, it's just Devil May Cry," but we're all like, "Wait, if it's Devil May Cry 5 and like it looks like that, plays like that, from what we can see, isn't that a plus?" Like I'm thinking to myself, "This is what I want from a Final Fantasy game: a character and action based like game, just with Final Fantasy stuff." That's what I've always wanted.
Yeah, and from the takeaway, just to put it in like real simple terms, it's not quite this, but yeah, it plays like a Devil May Cry, which is awesome. Like apparently that's like what people said. This was like a gameplay demo, and they're like, that is solid. Like you have nothing to worry about. That game plays like amazingly. And they said like structurally, they're like, this is a lot like God of War. Like you're controlling your dog with like your D-pad. You're gonna have like a main hub that you're all going to meet and do missions and stuff. It's not open world. It's linear in the same way. So, and that's also what the director said. They said that, they were looking a lot like God of War 2018, which is a very interesting direction to take it. But apparently like there's that. And then they got to play, I think in demos, one of those big summon fights. And those summon fights, apparently they're saying like, hey, there's going to be like a good fair amount of these, and we're just putting like all the money at them. And they said it's going to be very varied mechanically what you're going to do. So it's not just going to be like, okay, this is the 5th one of these, and it's going to be like they said they wanted to make them very different, experiences when you hit them, but still have them be like big moments in the game. So, pretty much everyone that walked away from that demo was like, man, okay, yeah, this is kind of going to be a big deal. So
not surprised.
I was very excited.
High faith on that.
I'm not either, because I knew that team was going to do it. But as far as like the gameplay, they make an MMO. I didn't know how it was going to translate into like an action game or whatever. And seeing that's on track and stuff. Very exciting. So I continue to be excited for Final Fantasy 16.
Oh,
and just the fact that it's like made for PS5, in the same way Sony makes their first party stuff really targeted, so they can make it look good and polish it to like a sheen. They had been saying like, hey, we finished this game like over a year ago. We've been polishing it for like a year and a half. I think this game's going to come out and be like pretty much just like as clean as possible. So I'm just I'm very excited.
I hope so.
That's all.
It'd be cool.
Yeah. Actually, I want to bring up a fun fact. You mentioned how like they're just throwing all their money at like these like these summon fights. What are they called again?
Yeah, that game looks good. That game looks really good graphically, by the way.
Yeah.
Continue.
I want to bring up. It's so funny because like if they're doing all that for like just these summon fights, a little fun fact, which sounds a bit weird to bring up, but it took 5 years, the entire like development time, for Sonic Frontiers to nail down their first boss, which you could like chop it up as like fighting a summon, but like I just think it's kind of funny how like this same company is doing that, but with like I don't know how many, probably like 6+ like summons we're gonna be fighting. That's gonna be really cool, and yeah, I'm not surprised this looks good. But also RE4, dude.
Oh yeah, I played that demo.
I
forgot.
Looks awesome. It looks so much fun.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. I played through the demo a couple days ago, and yeah,
how was it?
I'm sold. I'm just sold.
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. It's
exactly what you expect, but like even better, and just like the attention to detail and like the movement and the gameplay where you can like parry people's attacks and stuff. It's just like, what? That's crazy.
It is super cool, and I can't wait to play this game. But what makes you a little sad is that we mentioned last episode how like just the amount of games that already came out in January and February, like that in itself was like basically last year's lineup of games. But we all just got in the first 2 months, and like I love that, but I just feel so sad. I'm like, oh my god, I don't have the money to play all these amazing games right now. But like, woo, I will definitely do so later on.
That's the sad thing. The minute you have enough money to play all these games, you don't have enough time to play them.
Exactly.
So it's always a trade-off.
Yeah.
But all right. So why you all are here is we are doing the ranking of PlayStation. And so you may remember we did this for Nintendo where we had I think about 3 lists we went through. Today we have 2 because one is substantial. And yeah, so are you guys ready to jump in to the ranking of PlayStation?
I'm so ready.
I'm ready for our friendship to end.
Yeah.
What friendship?
No. There will be a friendship that ends today.
This
So
is a business.
sharpen your knives. Here we go. All right, let me change to our first list. All right, our first list, we have all of the PlayStation consoles. And when you think about it, just because there's been so many variants, that list looks like really short.
Yeah, it does.
Pretty weird.
Even though when I look at it, I'm like, I guess that's right. I guess if you don't take into account like slims and lights, like the PSP had like 4 models, you know?
So we have to consider the variations when ranking these, like
just the systems as a whole. Yeah, like variations, just
the library,
all the systems. You know,
controller.
Yeah, it's controller exactly.
I don't know if I can think about that much at all at once.
Too much to hold in your brain. You have to memory dump. You're not going to know who your kids are after this. You're like, I don't know your names. I deleted them. Sorry. All right. So you guys ready? We're going to start from we tried just ordering this without using the internet. So hopefully it's in a pretty close order to release. There might be something that's like a few months off, but that's pretty close. All right. Well, let's just jump straight into it.
Yeah.
We have the PlayStation 1.
I hate it.
What?
No. Just kidding.
The PlayStation's interesting because we're gonna start running into a thing. We were able to rank like older Nintendo consoles, but this came out when I was like 4. You know,
right? And we were already jumping on to like probably PS2 by that time. We got like, a little more conscious.
Yeah. I just held on to 16-bit consoles till like the early 2000s because but the PS1 I definitely went back to once I had my PS2. So a lot of my PS1 experiences were like going to friends' houses and like playing Tony Hawk or Wipeout, Army Men, whatever they had.
Oh, sweet.
And yeah, and Tekken, that was fun, but I definitely had to go back to the PS1 library later on to play, some stuff that was already in like its second and third sequel, like Metal Gear and stuff like that. But I think the PS1's awesome. Especially as a JRPG machine, a genre. Apparently, I'm not supposed to say JRPG anymore. Sorry, Yoshi P. But it's just, it has a ton of really like seminal RPGs from Japan, and just like some really good action games and multiplayer games. So I don't know. Where are you guys feeling?
I mean, I feel like, yeah, it is a little hard because I was so young, and I remember having it in the house when my dad got it when it came out, and he got it for himself, really. I mean, there's a specific home video that my family likes to bring up all the time. It's me and my brother, like, we're like in our underwear, and we're like kicking each other around in the living room, like beating each other up, and my dad is just over in the corner of the room. I mean, sitting down, cross-legged in front of the TV playing the PS1. So I feel like he definitely had more time with it for a while. I grew up playing it every now and then, but not really understanding what I was playing. But I do remember I have strong memories of that Army Man game. I really enjoyed playing it. Not that I knew what I was doing. But unlike you, Troy, I don't think I really went back to it like later on in life. I think once we got the PS2, I was able to comprehend a little bit more about what to play and how to play things, and I don't think I ever really went back like you did. So I don't have a whole lot of solid memories with it, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think some of my strongest memories are with this console. Like I had this and the Dreamcast kind of overlapping. I think they were my oldest brothers from whenever he was a teenager. We had the PlayStation, the original model, the gray box version, and then my dad bought me the PS1, which is that like smaller, off-white looking one.
The PSX,
where they introduced the analog sticks on the controllers. And I played a lot of like A Bug's Life and Toy Story.
Dude, I was literally just about to say every kid I knew had the freaking Bugs Life PS1 game and the Army Men game. Those are the two games. I don't know why everyone had those two games.
And then, of course, Crash and Spyro. That was kind of the whole collection.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I guess that's a good point. I do have a lot of Spyro memories with that console, and I had a lot of fun with that.
My friend had the portable, like the smaller PSX system like you had, but he also had the screen that attaches to it. And so I played a lot more PS1 later because that's the one you could just plug into a wall and we could start playing. So we played a lot of like Tony Hawk, Pro Skater 2, I think, and then like Tekken and just a bunch of cool stuff. So I have like really good memories of the PS1, even back in the day. And then going back to it and playing like Symphony of the Night, like Metal Gear Solid, like, all the Final Fantasies, stuff like that. So PS1 is just really solid.
Yeah. As far as rank goes, though, I don't think I could see it in S.
No,
I'm thinking B right now. Like
I'm with you. That's exactly where I was thinking. Because there is a strong list of games, but there's a lot of garbage PS1 games.
Yeah.
Like that era has a lot of games that do not run well, that were just kind of trash. So a lot of licensed game stuff like that I ended up playing too. But yeah, compared to the rest, I agree with you. B would be where I'm kind of sitting. What about you, Izayah? I know you played some PS1 games.
Oh yeah, like Metal Gear Solid 1, Final Fantasy 9, and like I think a few other games from just the top of my head. But like I love the games that have come out for this console. Even the games that have gone remastered by now to of course to our current gen. And I play these games and stuff, but like personally, like as a console and with these games, like I look at this library, a lot of these are just like back to back, like bangers, hitting all cylinders, like iconic. And alive to this day. Alive to this day, games like Tekken, Final Fantasy, like you know it. But,
Ridge Racer, Gran Turismo, Twisted Metal, like just a ton of PlayStation.
Like even Crash.
Twisted Metal.
Did anyone actually know what Siphon Filter was when the system was out? Because I feel like I learned about that when the PS3 came out.
Yeah, I learned about that like maybe 5 years ago. I didn't really know what it was.
I learned about that like listening to like IGN podcasts around the PS3 era. You know.
Yeah.
So
well, probably when the PSP games were coming out. That's how I knew it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So personally, I would say B because it's a majority, but I honestly would struggle for a bit of an A. Honestly,
I can see it, but I'm still going.
I'm stuttering. I'm gonna pull back to C.
Whoa!
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You don't think it's like that much?
But if you're talking like A, B, Izayah, then I'm cool with B. But I was kind of rethinking it.
Okay. All right. I'll stick with B.
Okay. I think we're good on B. You cool with that, Colton?
Yeah. You have to go to B.
All right.
Legends are boring on that console.
So this we're just not even a touch. It's a Pocket Station.
Okay.
It was Japan only. Like, yeah. So that did not even come out here. So pass.
F because it didn't come out in the US. So
it's like it's like a VMU looking thing. So all right. Next we have the PS2.
Oh my god.
And again,
I think Dalton says A. I saw his list that he made.
Yeah, he said A for PS2, huh?
Or was it S? Ooh, I can't remember.
I don't remember either.
Dalton, if only you were here.
Yeah, if only. So PS2 is legendary, and it's hard to separate it from all our childhoods, you know, compared to like looking at the library. But even looking at the library, like there are still some PS2 games that stand up today. Like Shadow of the freaking Colossus was on the PS2, you know, like there are just like incredible games that came out of that don't just feel like, oh, they're old, but they're good for their time. You know, they're just like stand out to this day. Great games.
Got a DVD player for the first time.
Yeah,
oh man,
got to take
that really. I mean, that deserves S tier. I think just because it gave everybody in America their first DVD player. I mean,
it can stand vertically.
It has to. Dude. The little PlayStation logo can rotate. I mean, it's got
I watched
S tier written all over it.
I watched Spider-Man and Lord of the Rings like 80 times on this thing till the disc drive was like stopped working.
Yeah.
Not to mention the Slim.
Oh, I love
which is
the
just
Slim.
like.
No, it overheated so badly.
I never had that problem.
Bad.
I played my Slim every day, and I feel like I never had that problem.
Wait, did you get? There was a model that came out with like later that was improved. I had like the first Slim model, and it overheated all the time.
I know nothing about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, there like I could just go down. There were just so many games. Like I remember playing like Battlefront 2, like racing games. Yeah. Those we were just talking about the Lord of the Rings games, you know.
Oh yeah, God dang it!
Not to mention like Metal Gear 2 and 3, Final Fantasies, like just Devil May Cry.
It's hard for me not to see it in S tier. Personally,
I'm with you. I'm just like,
okay, I was gonna say A, but if y'all are S, that's cool.
The controller was awesome. Like,
was it?
You know,
yeah, it was a good controller. Totally. I loved it.
So it's great. God of War, like, come on.
Okay. Let's real talk here. Like, some of my all-time favorite games ever come from this console. Like Shadow of the Colossus, Final Fantasy X, one of Troy's favorite Final Fantasies, one of my favorite Personas 3, Metal Gear Solid.
It has Persona 3 and 4, doesn't it?
Dude, yes. Yeah, like it is a cult classic.
It's a monster of a console.
This is a cult classic console that
I don't think
it's not cult. It's the best selling
console. Is it not
until
right?
The Switch gets better?
Oh, okay.
The Wii U is a cult classic.
Oh, okay.
That's what that means. Yeah.
Yeah, you're good. I get what you're saying though. There's a lot of cult classic games on it for sure.
Yes, but also regardless. The library, the godlike library that this game carried on its shoulders is incredible. But also just like the sound design of like the menu for the PS2. The sound design, the visuals, iconic. And it's beautiful to some extent, like really.
Except just do it.
I know, and like I just keep thinking of games too. Like I'm just like, oh yeah, Okami, this, I'm just this. I'm like, okay.
The Godfather.
I'm okay with S. I think there's not a lot of bad things to say about the PS2.
No,
in general.
Yeah.
It was a beast.
I mean, it's kind of ugly. Oh,
I was about to say it. I love the look of it.
Me too.
Like almost every iteration of it too.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
I don't think PlayStation has many bad looking consoles.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
That's funny.
This is interesting. Okay, so we are to the PSP. I don't know about you guys, but like as a kid, the PSP was just this like expensive luxury item that like the rich kids had.
Yeah.
I was like, in my head when I saw them, I'm like, man, there's no way I'm ever gonna get one of these.
Yeah, I didn't.
But it was so cool.
Yeah, I got a PSP probably like 2 years after I got my PS3, and I got my PS3 maybe 2 years after the PS3 launched. Like I got a PSP way late, and I remember getting it, and I was like, oh man, it's been out so long. There's probably so many games that came out on this thing, and I think I may have bought like 8 games for that thing total, and I don't think I put a lot of time into it. But I remember really liking it. I had so many things to play on my PS3, and I didn't play a whole lot of stuff on the go. So I just don't. I feel like I would have liked it a lot more if I got it earlier on.
Yeah. Did you get the Size Matters bundle?
Yes, yes, I did.
Yeah, I figured when you said the timeline, I think I got my PSP right when you did too. I have a little bit different experience. Like, it's not like I had a ton of games on it, but I had some like ones I really liked, and most of them were just Square games. You know, like Crisis Core, Dissidia 1 and 2 are really cool arena fighting games before they ruined it on the PS4 and arcade one. Like, you know, the Kingdom Hearts games. There were like, you know, like Ratchet and Clank and stuff. And I also would put a bunch of like PS1 games on it, which is cool that you're able to do that.
Yeah, and Mega Man like a Maverick X, that was awesome.
I had National Treasure on it. I think National Treasure came with that bundle, by the way.
I think I remember my biggest disappointment. I was still like, you know, a young dumb kid, so I'd see like a trailer for like a game, and it was like, look at these 2 army dudes, they're blowing stuff up. It's freaking awesome. I was like, oh my god, I have to get Army of 2 the 40th day, Mom. And I got it for like a birthday present, and it was the most underwhelming game I ever played. It was so boring. And
Wait, on the PSP or the PS?
On the PSP.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know there was a PSP version of that.
Yeah, I think.
Wow.
What probably happened? They probably had an ad for the PS3 version, and I didn't know what I was looking at, and then I saw one for the PSP, and I remember being very upset with that game.
Yeah.
So that kind of put a sour taste in my mouth for the PSP. Not that it was technically the PSP's fault, but.
So we thinking like D tier?
I mean, if that's the way you want to go, I would put it.
I haven't played it.
I really liked my PS. I like Luminous. Like, there's. I think it's a really slick. It's a really slick console.
It felt really good.
Yeah, especially like the 3000 really series nice. And stuff. Yeah.
PS3 menu, but I didn't know that. Yeah.
If it has to go lower, I could put it lower.
You could argue that like you could play PS1 games on it, right?
Yeah, and you know what? There were games I really enjoyed on it, but most of them were Square RPGs. So it was kind of limited for me too. You know, it's not like I had like a bunch of variety on it. There were, you know, like I said, I did have different games, but
did the portability make up for that?
I mean, yes. Like I remember bringing it to school and like beating Crisis Core like after class one time, like, you know, stuff like that. I remember. But overall, I could see it in D. That'd be fine.
Okay. I thought you were gonna say B or C. Okay.
No, I meant I would put it in C, but if you guys want to put it lower, I'm okay.
Oh, I don't want to put it in D. I was just trying to get a reaction out of you.
I felt like that's kind of where Colton was sitting too. I don't know. What do you?
I'm really in between. I could go either way, D or C. Part of me, I think I liked and like I'm thinking back to like holding it and how nice it felt, and part of me wants to put it in C just because I think it was really well built and it was a nice little machine.
No, totally.
Part of me wants to put it in C just because I really liked the console itself. Physically.
Yeah, it's really cool. The memory cards were expensive. That was the only thing.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But that's the same with, you know, we're gonna get to like the Vita and stuff too. So same problem. I don't know. I could say D to make room for other consoles. You know. It might be the weakest one on here, even though there's still good stuff on it. You know,
I don't think it's the weakest.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. I we're going to the PSP Go, which, for the record, I did not have, but so I don't know if you guys did. But let's go in order. PS3. All right.
This is a weird one.
I'm with you. I mean, PS3 is probably the console we all had that first got us like online and playing with friends and
Xbox 360.
It was both for me.
Well,
PS3 and Xbox 360.
I was late on the PS3.
It's that generation, I guess.
Yeah. But that's my problem is that my preference wasn't the PS3.
Yeah.
So it makes it tricky. It's like,
yeah. I mean, we could say the bad stuff first. Like the controller's not the best. Its battery life was good compared. I mean,
Dude, that battery life was great. I didn't have to charge. I charged it like once a week, maybe.
Yeah. But like the minute you got a PS4 controller or you had a 360 controller before, you're like, triggers.
Yeah.
I see. I get it. You know.
Yeah.
Like I quote unquote upgraded from the Xbox 360 to the PS3, and I felt the controller and I was like, why did I do this to myself?
Yeah. And especially if you got the 6-axis version without the rumble.
Oh yeah, those are trash. I got one of those used. It was awful.
It's very expensive, but okay. But I will say this is where the PS3 starts shining. This is where Sony's first party benefits that are still helping it today dominate.
Uncharted.
This is where it started.
I was gonna say Uncharted, God of War.
Starts with Drake's Fortune. Yep, and just moves up from there.
We didn't even say God of War for PS2.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I did. I mentioned God of War.
Yeah.
Yep.
God of War's been around for a while.
But dude, this is this is where like Demon Souls landed. This is where Uncharted 2 lands. This is where Last
Dark
of Us.
Souls
more MGS 2 is like, oh my god.
MGS4, you mean?
MGS4, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah. There's just like really good Ratchet and Clank games. Like, there's a great amount of games, downloadable games as well. Journey.
Oh my god,
a lot
Fallout.
of indie stuff.
Fallout 3.
Fallout played terribly on the PlayStation 3.
Hey man, it worked for me.
Yeah,
it worked for me
too.
No, if you actually played through it and got to the end game, like that thing crashed all the time.
Yeah, dude, the DLC crashed on me all the time when I played it.
Aww,
yeah, the pit. I remember the pit, crashing me 5 times.
And the alien, the spaceship, they would crash all the time.
Yeah. But that is a problem. They had the ports weren't as good as 360. Not that we knew at the time, but if you go back, you're like, oh yeah, okay.
Oh, I knew.
Yeah.
I'm fully aware.
But its first party really saves the console.
Yeah.
And it was just like a nice Blu-ray player. Like, there's parts about the console I do like. Like I like the XMB, especially by the end of the generation. The XMB still felt good, whereas the 360 was like, I don't know, having World of Warcraft ads on it.
I do remember the store being slow though. Like,
yeah,
okay,
yes.
Bad. Once they changed the store to an app instead of that internal browser,
they're getting ready to upgrade
really bad
to the PS4 model or whatever. Yeah.
To this day, it's almost impossible for me to go down my list without it crashing and refreshing. So it makes going back to the store and downloading stuff really difficult. But I don't know. The PS3 was like super special for me in the fact that its first party was like what modern games, single player games would become, like those big AAA blockbusters. And it's where like I first started playing online in like a regular fashion,
My personal love for this console comes with the backwards compatibility. At launch, it was backwards compatible for PS1, 2, and 3. Of course, yes, with 3, but like, what I meant, right? But later on, they kept the PS1 function. That is how I played most of the PS1 library, or most of it. Like, the games that I was able to play with PS1, I played on PS3.
You got a lot of use out of that.
I really did, and I genuinely loved it, and I can't praise this console enough just because of that feature, but also just for the store. The store itself had backwards compatibility for like these old games, like the PS2, and that's how I play Persona 3 FES. Like it is a good console to my experience.
People are still using their PS3s to go back to games that aren't sold anywhere else.
Yeah, I have it still hooked up to this day.
Yeah, it's the console I pull out every once in a while to get stuff.
Where are we ranking it?
I'm personally an A.
Me too.
I agree.
I'm an A.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You. Unanimous.
Man, if the third party stuff was better, that would live in S tier. I think.
Hey, hold on. I forgot.
And the controller.
Oh yeah, control. Yeah.
I forgot, Colton. Your favorite indie games on this console.
Huh?
It's Super Rocket Ultra Battle. Oh,
No, you got it wrong.
What do you say?
Sonic Acrobatic Rocket Power Battle.
Thank you. Yes, that's another selling point for you. That's also
beautiful.
That.
All right. Did anyone have a PSP Go?
Nope.
No, I wanted one so badly.
Did you
really?
Yeah.
So
then I got the next.
So then you got so instead you got a phone.
Yeah.
All right. Josh, tell us about the Xperia Play.
I played a lot of trash Game Loft games on that. I looked it up and it was like the Asphalt games, and then they had a weird shooter like Nova something. I played Crash and Minecraft. Minecraft is fine. That's what.
Hey, I remember we would have mobile Minecraft parties at Josh's house, and we're all on our phones, and he was the one with the freaking little buttons on his phone. We were all so jealous of him. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then we were betrayed, but we don't.
Oh my gosh! Don't bring that up.
We don't have to talk about it. Yeah, it's an F. It was such a bad phone.
It's an F.
Well, it doesn't go to F.
Not even an E. Not even an E.
Oh, it's going to E.
It's an F.
It's an S. Gotcha. Okay, I'm bringing it up. All right, that's the Xperia Play. I just like the idea that like the service wasn't even turned on. Like instead of a PSP, they're like, here you go, just do what you can with that. Connect to Wi-Fi. All right, next is the Vita, which is I would say other than the no, it was probably the first console I got at launch.
Oh really?
So
wait,
yeah.
Quick question.
What's up?
Will we count the TV Vita?
Yeah. That then counts the PST.
I will give it an A because of Persona 4 Golden alone, and also I had all of Troy's library when I got to borrow it, so I had a fun time.
It wasn't much of a library though.
No,
Okay, yes, like what you would say, like this is Vita only software, but the amount of indie games that this was before the Switch, like the fact that I could play like Spelunky and
Towerfall.
Not Towerfall. Rogue Legacy.
There? Oh yeah.
PSP games, like PS1 games, like there's just a ton of like indie stuff you could play. And as much as people rag on it, it actually had a handful of awesome games that later reported to like PS4, which is a better way to play it. But
Gravity Rush, Tearaway.
Dude, yes. Gravity Rush, Tearaway, Luminous. There was a Luminous on there that was really good. Okay. We had Persona 4 Golden, which is huge. So yeah, there's just like there is a really solid maybe 10 games on the Vita that were just for the Vita.
Yes.
And then it had a lot of backwards compatibility stuff in it, and it had indie support pretty widely at that point.
That's right.
And a lot of it
was also on there.
Yeah, a lot of it was cross-buy, cross-play, like with the PS3 and PS4 stuff. So there's just like the Vita and the you got to take into account the hardware itself. Like that was a really cool device.
It's the best handheld that's ever been created. It's so good.
Yeah, it feels so substantial. Nice. It's so substantial in the hand.
It's just it wasn't cared for as well as it should have been.
Yeah.
So how high can it go if the first party games weren't there?
I'd say make it fair. It should be a B. I think out of fairness, it should be a B, even with the TV Vita involved, which blows up that screen up into your TV, which is awesome.
I had one of those. I played probably like 2 hours on it, and I carried it around in my car trunk for the next like 5 years.
Played that for 200 hours. It was great. I loved my time with that Vita.
It brought trophies like to handhelds, which was awesome. Like,
oh yeah.
It also would do chat, like in-game cross or platform chat, where the PS3 couldn't. We didn't say that with the PS3. The 360, you could have a chat room and do different games. PS3 was per game lobbies because of the RAM and everything. So Vita brought a lot of stuff that the PS3 didn't have and brought it forward to the PS4. So it's almost like a stepping stone in a lot of ways.
So where do you want it?
Tough. I would say we were just talking about the library, I'd say C. It has my favorite game of all time on it. It literally launched on. It literally has my favorite game of all time.
I wanted it B. I didn't think you were gonna say C.
You want to be, but I was about to say that, but I was like, but the hardware itself was so slick and like fun to use, and it's the perfect size. I would say B as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Colton, it's a shame.
Sure. I mean, I didn't play a whole lot with it, but even just a little bit of time I had with it, like I think B sounds like the best tier to put it in. I think.
Yeah, and I felt like so baller, like bringing that around the first week, the first 2 weeks I had it out. You know, I was just like, I'm gonna whip this out, and then be like, what is that?
Is that the first time you ever heard the word or acronym OLED?
Yes, actually. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It had an OLED, and that Persona 4 like little. They made that little intro screen knowing it has an OLED, so it like popped in a way, and I was like, "Oh, is that what this is?"
That's so cool.
It's like I've seen colors for the first time.
It was. I was like, I couldn't put my like finger on it. I'm like, wow, something's different here. And I looked up what an OLED did, and then I looked again. And I was like, oh, they're right. The blacks are so black. Although that it's an early example of OLED, so it has like a lot of ghosting and stuff. But it made art styles like Gravity Rush like really pop. You know how like the background kind of comes in as like a sketch, with like a lot of primary colors, like Gravity Rush, dude. I Gravity Rush has like one of the best. Over time, I think that's just like one of my favorite games ever. That first Gravity Rush.
Oh yeah,
yes, I agree. I feel bad because I could never like get back to the sequel. I did make progress in it, but I don't know. I like how the first game was just
so long.
short enough for
we'll
you
get to that.
Enjoy it.
We will talk about Gravity Rush 2 for sure.
Oh yeah.
But that's there are just some games out there I just call special, and Gravity Rush is just like a very special game.
I agree. Put it in B. Those Persona 4 Golden, Gravity Rush, Troy's Library that I got to play on the TV Vita, perfect.
Oh, I had the slim model of that too, a nice blue version, and that was still great.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to have the OLED. Oh god.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
You're okay. It didn't come through all that hard. All right, guys. Let's move on to the PlayStation 4.
Peak S. I'm done. That's all I gotta say.
I'm not gonna argue that. I think PS4 is probably S for me.
I would agree.
You would?
I would agree.
Okay.
PS4 Pro, just from the library alone.
Yes.
Looking back, it's easy to say, hey, like the hardware wasn't up to snuff with like, I mean, they tried to fix that with the PS4 Pro, but it like PC was so far ahead of every port that entire generation that kind of sucked being a console player, not feeling like you always got like, the worst version. But the games and Sony's first party is just, and this is where Japanese development like came back in force.
Yes.
In a way, like just more my type of games came out on PS4 than like anything else. Like, yeah, just from the library alone, I would give it an S. Controller fixed all the problems with the PS3, like just DualShock 4, like an amazing controller.
I thought
design. Go ahead, Josh.
I thought I was going to be alone in the S ranking for PS4.
Oh, absolutely not. Like it
is my favorite console.
Going from Xbox 360 to PS3, then a PS4, I was cooking. I was so on cloud 9, bro. That is so good.
Dude,
console.
That library alone, we could just start rattling off games like no one's business.
God.
Like, I could just be like,
It is that too. It's everything. It's down to that UI. It's how you could personalize it with themes. It's how the store was actually better. Like, and you can actually work with it a bit better. And like, you were able to like have parties. Like, you're able to like do like voice chat. Like, even better than like the PS3, which is the last major, like real major console for like home. But again, like everything about the PS4, I love it so much. I can. I will sell my soul for that console. I will not, but still.
Yeah. No, I'm with you guys. S, like really, really awesome console.
Yeah. There's no PlayStation logo you can rotate, but
Yeah.
It's true.
It's very true. Also, I mean, I also enjoyed the PS4 Pro.
Oh yeah, I did too.
Yes.
I mean, that's my console in my
sorely needed
in my master bedroom right now. You know, like that's the. We're still playing on it.
I think that's funny that you say it needed it because I got the Pro and then I went back to a Slim afterwards and I could not tell the difference.
Oh, dude. I mean, what kind of display were you connecting it to?
Well, not a super fancy LG OLED that costs like $2 grand or whatever.
Just like a 4K. Like, are you just on like a 4K television?
It was like a cheap 4K television, like a cheap Samsung.
Oh, I mean, most of the time you'd feel it in a game that gave you like a performance option or something like that, you know? Because, I'm with you. It wasn't like the biggest jump in the world. It wasn't like a console jump, but for like Sony first party games and stuff, they would just look that much better.
Oh, yeah, they would definitely look better, but I don't think it
played that much smoother.
Didn't take anything away in my experience.
Yeah, no. I'm with you. It wasn't like it turned the PS4 into a mediocre console to a great one. It's
still an
cool addition. Yeah. All right. So this one's kind of weird. Ranking the PS5 at this point.
See.
Gotta
have something in C.
I would put like Series S and X in C, and I would put PS5 at this point in a solid B for having really cool hardware, but the library has been slow. It's been slow.
Gentlemen. Let's start off with that controller. I
like the PS4 controller more.
I used to at some point, but no, I've come around so hard on that PS5 controller. It's really so comfortable. The details on like the grip of it with like all the little like shapes, just the feeling of it, the dual sense, the vibrations.
No.
The vibrations are
It's cool.
I like everything about the controller except for the triggers. That's where I get stuck. Where I'm like, I don't like the triggers.
Yeah. I love these triggers. I love you so much. Adaptive, great.
That's my biggest thing right now. At this point in the console, like on the PS4, which we put in our S tier, like we got this last year, we were getting like Bloodborne, Witcher 3, Metal Gear Solid 5, like and I think we will
get there.
I know we're about to get some like killer games, and it's not like there hasn't been any good games, but there's no PS5 only game that's come out that I'm like, oh, this is like, in my top 20 now, or even like top 50,
Right.
Like solid first party stuff.
That Astro demo thing.
That was really fun. Really fun.
You could argue to me that that's the best PS5 game that's come out, and I'd maybe agree with you.
I will say Miles Morales was like a really nice upgrade from like, the PS4 environment, but it is not a complete sequel, and it's not all the way like a topping of that game. It's probably like head level or like a little at the neck, but like
and I just can't fight the feeling that I'm playing like, a souped up PS4 game,
Yes.
Like,
I agree.
Like I'm just still waiting for the first game to like blow my mind, like top to bottom. And
you're waiting for Final Fantasy.
I'm waiting for Final Fantasy 16 or a Kojima game. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think Final Fantasy 16 could very well be that. So
I bought this PS5 wanting to play the game, knowing that I would be able to play the games I already own, like for my PS4. Like that really sold me. But with Sony, with what they're doing with like these like subscriptions and like like the Game Pass stuff, it's really like giving this console a bit more value. But the thing is, all that stuff I just mentioned is also accessible on the PS4. A lot of the games that have come out are also accessible on the PS4. Like The Last of Us Part 2 was not made for PS5. It was made for PS4. So
God of War, God of War at its heart is still a PS4 game. Good game.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So what we're saying is currently it belongs in C.
No, I don't.
No, like I said, I would put Series X and X in C. Like
I think it's definitely ranking. And personally, I feel A, but I'm okay with B.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. I want to hear Colton's A. Colton, why?
I just really enjoy it. I love the UI. I love. I think the the difference between like download times for games is so. I mean, it is
true.
Night and day with this thing. It is so great, and I think, and it doesn't happen with like every game, but like the amount of space that PS5 versions of games compared to PS4 versions, I think that the last one I can think that I actually paid attention to that was a really big difference was Control. I think the PS4 version of Control was like 85 gigabytes, and that in the PS5 version it downloaded in like I feel like it downloaded in like 12 minutes, and it was like 41 gigabytes.
Yep.
And it looked and played amazing, and I don't know. Yeah. So I mean, personally, I think it's an A, but I could see why it would be a B, like collectively.
Yeah. And I totally agree with you with the hardware, but I think that's just something I see as like a generational shift and not specifically a PS5 shift.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But I will. You know what?
Don't do it.
Oh
no, I'm B. I'm B.
Resident Evil remake.
Where's everyone? Where's everyone out so we can get to the big list? So I'm at a B. Colton, you're at an A. What are you, Izayah?
I love this console. Yeah, I'll put it at A. Slap that baby on there. I'm ready for it.
Oh, and where are you, Josh?
Just let him have the A. I'm in B, but I don't care.
No. If you feel a C, then I think
no. I don't. I was just.
Okay.
You know what? I can comfortably put it in A, knowing that we're probably gonna have like one of the best years.
Yes.
With this console coming up. Like just the amount of stuff that's coming to
it's like
PS5
a preemptive A ranking.
Yes. That makes more sense.
I can go with a preemptive A. Yeah.
Let's do
it. We've already seen the lifespan for all these consoles. We have not seen the lifespan for this console.
So stressful.
All right. So for our audio listeners, for S tier, we have PS2 and PS4, which I feel really good about.
Yeah.
Yes.
For A, we have PS3 and PS5.
All right.
For B, we have PS1 and the Vita.
Vita.
Nothing in C. We have in D, we have the PSP, and in E, we have the Xperia phone.
Hold up. The C has the PlayStation TV, the 3D TV. Y'all remember that?
Oh, the 3D TV for the PS3. Yeah.
And real quick, now these are more not really consoles, but we didn't talk about VR with PS4, did we? Or the
interesting,
and we don't have VR, and none of us have any VR2
peripheral.
PS5. Yeah,
that would be peripheral. That would just lump in.
That doesn't change any of the rankings, right?
Yeah.
PS4.
Nah.
Really? Okay. I mean, it can't get any higher, I guess. So.
S plus. We'll take that C and add a new upper tier.
I remember when the PS3 tried copying the Wii.
This isn't in the tier, but if we did have to battle out the PS2 versus PS4, that would be rough for me. So I'm glad we don't have to. All right.
Yeah.
So let's do the next one. Let's do this.
All right. Moving on. Are you guys ready?
So ready.
Oh yeah.
Scroll down.
We are
at least 10 there.
We are going to try to move pretty fast on this.
So what are we doing, Troy, for the audio listeners?
So right now we are looking at every major PlayStation exclusive from the PlayStation 1 to the PS5, and it is a monster list.
Can I ask something?
What's up?
Can we take a short break before we get into this monster?
Okay. Yeah. No. Let's do it. All right, everyone, folks. We will be right back.
PlayStation.